Um, so hi everyone, I'm Johanna and I work in content marketing at Branch. And I'm here with John from Digital Turbine, Kevin from iFit, and Eric from Branch. And today we're presenting the web to app journey, how to create frictionless experiences. So just a couple of housekeeping items before we start the webinar. So the audience will be muted, but we highly encourage you to ask questions either in the Q&A bar or in the chat as the webinar progresses, and we'll leave time for your questions at the end. And also this webinar is being recorded, so you will receive a recording of this webinar and the slides tomorrow. So you'll get all the materials tomorrow. And with that, I'll hand it over to Eric.
Cool. Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, I guess, at this point. The other thing you'll get following the webinar, along with the recording, is an activation code for a free iFit membership, which is going to be great. Thank you, Kevin, again for that for everybody. I'll kick it off. I know there's people still joining, but want to get going. Want to save plenty of time for Q&A. I think we have a really great presentation for everybody this morning, right really at the heart of what ought to be, if it's not the focal point of a lot of your marketing considerations. This is a little bit about what you can expect to learn here today. If you're here, presumably you understand and believe that the customer experience matters. That is, paramount consideration. Of course, I think everybody believes that, but applying that in the ways that iFit has done and the ways that we'll talk about today can be difficult. But keeping that front and center of your focus of your marketing initiatives is super important. What we'll touch on a little bit more specifically today in that regard is how to drive a good customer experience from your owned audiences, how to capitalize on those audiences for app growth, and how you can easily provide great customer experiences to those owned audiences and improve not just the customer experience, but the performance of all of your marketing activities as well. We'll also touch on the fact that these owned audiences and really non-paid channels are increasingly important given some of the changes that are going on in the marketplace today. I'm speaking, more specifically to the changes that are coming with Apple's changes to the IDFA, and leveraging non-paid sources has always been, but is probably even an increasingly important source of app growth for marketers today. Last and certainly not least, as I mentioned before, if you're participating here, you'll receive a complimentary iFit membership, and we'll follow up with you so you get that activation code. Excuse me. At Branch, speaking of the customer experience, our mission since day one of the company has been to strengthen user experience, provide seamless cross-channel experiences for users, and provide comprehensive measurement as well. As app growth has continued, growing rapidly for many companies, these customer experiences are all the more important, and the gaps that they can see in their data have grown as well. And so Branch plays a more and more critical role in helping drive performance and helping drive visibility into the success of their marketing activities. As a linking platform, which Branch is at our core, partners have always played an important role. Having Digital Turbine with their SingleTap product participate with us today is really great. John, thanks again for being here. We couldn't do what we do without the active participation of our partners in bringing the solutions to market. For those of you that don't know Branch that well, I'll just provide one quick overview slide. Branch is a linking platform, as I said, which means that clients use our links behind marketing activities across all sorts of channels. You see, some channels obviously on the left here, but there's other channels as well, like QR codes we've seen a lot of use of recently. Using our links behind marketing communications in all those channels allows for marketers to deliver a seamless user experience to users, where users go right into the app if they have the app. If they don't have the app, they'll go either to the App Store or to the web. And if they then go download the app after that, Branch is able to maintain the context all the way through the download, which again drives better performance and a better customer experience. On the back end, because Branch is capturing all of that data, we can provide the insight into what individual channels, what campaigns are driving the most success in terms of events in your app that are important to your business. And we'll talk obviously a lot more about this as we continue with the presentation, but that's the overview of Branch. And John, let me hand it over to you. Talk a little bit about Digital Turbine and SingleTap.
Thank you, Eric. Yeah, so for those of you that don't know Digital Turbine, hopefully most of you do. Digital Turbine is a direct-to-device platform. What does direct-to-device mean? Basically what it means is we partner with OEMs and carriers, so device manufacturers and device operators, and we partner with them to deliver apps in lots of different ways. SingleTap, which is the main product we're going to talk about today, but our technology is essentially embedded, our software is embedded into the device. And so we can help marketers broadly get on device, and more importantly, more excitingly, brand new devices right at the point of which a user purchases. For SingleTap, it's one of our newest products. So because of that fact that we have technology directly onto device, SingleTap is what allows us to use a typical flow like web to app and improve the install experience. So I think you guys have probably all installed apps before. And sometimes when you install an app, there can be some redirects there, maybe a mobile web browser pops up, and then you have the App Store experience, which sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad. SingleTap essentially removes all of that friction away so that one click keeps the user in the same experience, downloads the app in the background without the need for the App Store. So that's SingleTap. On the next slide, we talk about the powerfulness of SingleTap together with the journeys flow. So this is really exciting for me just because journeys as a product has been one that I've admired for a while anyway, outside looking in just improving that experience where you can land the user right on the page where they're most interested in, whether that's commerce or social or whatever it may be. Now to enhance that further, what's great is you put the SingleTap flow on top, you get that user that's on your website, they're interested in downloading your app, which is, we know, a really powerful thing to be able to direct them to. And with SingleTap, you take out all of the friction or redirects in that. So this is the image of just illustrating very basically what that does. User clicks on the link, they open the app, it downloads in the background. They do not go to the App Store, they do not see competitor ads. And then once they open that app, it goes directly onto the page. And so I think, for me, it's two of the most seamless kind of linking technologies combined together to help, both the discovery and engagement of apps. And so the next slide, the last slide in terms of what's the benefit of this for you guys, as marketers. I think number one is the user experience, right? So you're not having this kind of redirect or different things flows. They stay within the content of the web or the app that they're in. We've generally seen the most important thing for performance marketers is a huge increase in kind of click to install conversion rate. So 2x what you would normally see, right? Because you're removing that latency, you're removing that drop off. The third thing is, combined with journeys, it's an opportunity to land your user in a specific destination within the app. And then the fourth thing is the implementation. With the branch web SDK, it's very fast and easy to implement to get the performance benefit and to get the user experience benefit.
Thanks, John. This just sort of sums up a little bit, John, what you were talking about, just for everybody in the audience. We mentioned before the importance of your owned audiences, the audiences on your own channels. And we recognize how hard it is to get people onto your digital properties, but that's really just the start. You spent all that time and money getting them there. You don't want to lose them. You want to make sure you capitalize on the opportunity to engage them. And the app is often, a critical vehicle by which you can drive lifetime value and long-term engagement with consumers. Between Branch and SingleTap, you're getting higher click-to-install rates, as we'll see. You're getting the pre-install seamless experience that John just described, plus the post-install experience that Branch can help drive and optimize as well. That helps capitalize on these audiences. As John alluded to, reducing that friction keeps the user on your digital properties and will boost conversion rates by 200 to 300%. And we've seen that, and Kevin's going to get into it in just one second, how they saw it at iFit. And then lastly, once the users are in the app, Branch can continue to measure the activity, measure the impact these campaigns and these audiences are having in driving your business going forward. So that's some good background, hopefully, everybody, for Kevin's case study with iFit. And Kevin, I'll hand it over to you.
Thanks, Eric. So to jump to our first slide for iFit, just so that for those of you that are not aware as to who we are, iFit is an interactive, personalized, world-class training solution. You may not recognize the iFit brand, but for the brands below it, you might recognize those a little bit more. iFit is a part of the Icon Health and Fitness parent company. The pieces of equipment the branded equipment we own are Nordic Track, Proform, and Free Motion. iFit is that subscription technology that creates those pieces of equipment into smart fitness, smart technology. So it's been really exciting, especially in this day and age for fitness, to have iFit and to be that digital personal trainer for our members. What's been really exciting over the last year is that iFit has launched a non-connected capability. So that way, not only are we bringing a world-class fitness experience to those members that own equipment, we have now expanded that to individuals that may not have equipment or desire to continue their fitness journey beyond equipment. And that's really where this partnership with Digital Turbine and Branch comes into play, is now iFit has an acquisition funnel directly for our subscription. And since the spring of 2020, when we launched that non-connected aspect, we've been growing and building our team to support our acquisition efforts across the app stores, so iOS, Google, but then we're also getting into the TV app store with Apple TV, Google TV, and Amazon Fire. So it's been really great to see the expansion of iFit, and it's in a large part due to a partnership with Branch as our MMP tool, and now with Digital Turbine, allowing us to just create a more seamless experience. And I want to echo what Eric and John brought up as far as the experience is so vital for us, and that's truly what we rely on, is how to create the best in class experience for our members in order for our product to be successful. So from an iFit standpoint, the team that really supports me and makes myself and our department successful, we concentrate on acquisition. So our team specifically focuses in on acquisition for iFit. We have about 4 different disciplines in which we concentrate on to create the best in class experience. So with my team, when you start looking at acquisition, it's how do we drive those paid media efforts? How do we create that formative experience? And then how do we do marketing support? And as John and Eric alluded to, what we're trying to do with all of our efforts is push our traffic, either to web or to app. And if we're doing all these efforts from a web standpoint, as far as optimizing our web, adding SEO, driving individuals from a paid standpoint to web, the last thing we want to do is take that web traffic and then throw them into the app store where it's also a competitive environment. So to create this experience on our website with this web to app journey has been vital in our customer experience to get them into iFit quickly, seamlessly, and begin using our product. So to move into the situation in which created this partnership. So we still are a large, growing, and shifting audience as far as the fitness category has been a growing category for years now. And then with the pandemic coming into place and gyms closing, the at-home fitness category has grown substantially. So with iFit being an at-home fitness solution, as well as solutions beyond at home, it has truly grown our web presence and our web traffic. And what we've started to see is this shift to mobile web, individuals hitting our website from a mobile device. How do we get them into the app? Obviously, our offline marketing efforts have been shifted just due to the pandemic, but obviously Branch and SingleTap, Digital Turbine SingleTap experience goes well beyond the web to app experience. But for us, we looked at our website. We have a whole bunch of traffic here. How do we convert them into our app? So that was one of the largest questions we had, and one of the main reasons we went with Branch as our MMP tool. Not only did they have the attribution we were looking for, but they had the solutions beyond attribution, the ability to do quick links, emails, journeys within our website. And that really allowed us then to get to the second point of, now that iFit has this non-connected experience, that is so vital for us to get these individuals into the app. When they're in the app, they're going to be able to engage more with our content. It expands our accessibility for iFit. It's no longer just on a piece of equipment, and it adds a layer of convenience. I think that convenience is a huge benefit to the app space. I go back to one of the first conferences I was at, and it doesn't really work as well in the webinar, but when I was at this app conference, the speaker said, raise your hand if you have your phone on you. And the entire crowd raised their hand. And then the speaker said to put your hand down, raise your hand if you have your desktop or laptop with you, and hardly anyone raised their hand. It's the convenience of your mobile device. You always have it with you. I would guarantee that most people will have their phone on them 16 hours a day at a minimum. So having that experience of being able to get someone into the iFit app on your mobile device, that's where we know that people are going to have that convenience aspect. And then execute and support growth. For iFit, we are in a hyper growth phase right now, but the acquisition team that really supports the efforts for iFit didn't really exist prior to this past year. It's been a team that we've been growing. So how do you support this hyper growth with a very limited team and limited resources? And just having this partnership and technology and capability to turn something on and act on it quickly has been a tremendous experience for iFit. The user interface from Branch has been seamless for us to utilize. And then the partnership with Digital Turbine was very easy to turn on. So as we look at the user interface for Branch, this is what excites my team and myself as far as the ability to come in here and customize journeys based on the audience you want to reach, the web page you want to reach. As to what Eric and John were mentioning before, being able to drop someone directly where you want them to be, that can easily be done by customizing your journey based on each URL, each page. Did they have the app? Yes or no? Do they have the app? Yes or no? Did they come in from an advertisement? The ability to do if and then statements and build this logic behind Branch for this journey to be executed is what really makes it seamless for a smaller team to execute nimbly in a space in which we're growing extremely fast. So this allows a limited resource team to be able to be successful in a hyper growth stage. And then as we get into what the experience looks like, so this is a a quick video of what you would experience from this Digital Turbine SingleTap experience. And as John was alluding to, it skips the App Store. It automatically starts updating. So it removes that competitive environment of the App Store where everyone is providing ASO to optimize their app. They're bidding on key terms, bidding against competitors. This allows you to immediately download the app, not having to worry about if someone lands in the App Store, are they going to navigate out of it and go elsewhere? Are they going to read reviews, go scroll down into the metadata? This allows you to immediately download the app and open it. So that's the experience that someone from a mobile web standpoint would receive if they were to land on our website and have Digital Turbine capabilities. So this experience is just a seamless one-click experience. Here's the layout of what you would experience. And that frictionless, and I want to highlight that frictionless experience is what's so vital here. As everyone in the e-commerce or digital space or app space knows, the more clicks you're going to make a consumer go through, the greater the risk you're going to lose individuals at each step. Where this is just simply one click and the app's already installed on your device and you're taken right to the very beginning screen of, for us, it's sign up or sign in. So one click from our web and you're looking at the app. And that's what's important for us to create for our user base that we're hoping to turn into members. And then as far as success is concerned, for Digital Turbine, when we look at the last few months of running this test as far as web to app, the no journey aspect, so with us just using Branch from a quick link standpoint or not having Branch at all, you'll see that we experience a very low attrition rate of users that would actually make it to the app after they hit our mobile web. Where as we incorporated Branch and the capabilities that Branch provided, adding the journey aspect in there significantly increased our click to install rates. What I really love about that journey aspect, not only is it very customizable, you can customize that widget as far as what does it look like, where does it appear, how large is it? So that journey aspect has been vital for us, and you would need that journey aspect in order for then SingleTap to come in and experience what it has. But looking at that number from SingleTap of 70% of our mobile app traffic that hit our website converted to our app from an install standpoint is enormous. And that costs us no money as far as pushing that paid traffic to our website and converting them from web to app. And that's significant when you look at all the efforts we do as marketers, all the different channels we have to be able to convert that traffic organically from our web is extremely important. So this just shows the opportunity with SingleTap and Branch combined in that true partnership between what iFit brought to life using Branch and SingleTap. And then measurements of success after we get someone in. So as I mentioned for iFit, our team concentrates on acquisition. After we are able to acquire the user, we have 3 different areas of focus as far as our engagement and marketing team is concerned. Our members move into onboarding, engagement, and retention. And these 3 areas are critical for our success. So after we get that post-install, the next most important thing is this onboarding. It's creating this level of service. Same thing that you would do at retail or e-commerce. It's how are you creating something that a user, a member would remember versus your competitors. You're seeing this was done years ago as far as creating that in-store experience that retains your users. So how do we create that onboarding service? And measurements of success that we look at from an iFit standpoint is how quickly can we get someone to use our product, how often, how many workouts are they doing, and what's their NPS score when they come in. And then that progresses through into engagement. So engagement, it's how do we take this individual that hopefully started their fitness journey during onboarding and continue their fitness journey? How do we make sure that we're motivating this user, we're challenging this user? So this is where a whole bunch of our features and benefits come into play that we use as far as measurements of success. It's looking at the frequency of workouts, how many workouts do users participate in different types of workouts, challenges, milestones, how do we progress a user during their fitness journey? And obviously the end goal for everyone is retention. How do you retain your customer, your user base? For us, it's important for us to retain our members. Once we have this person through the acquisition funnel, they're no longer consumers. They're now members of iFit. How do we treat them like a member? So for retention, how do we make sure that we have that lifetime value measurement? We understand the cohorts they're coming in at. Understanding what are our promotional strategies and how to make sure to keep this user and retain this member as far as their subscription is concerned. It's a little bit different than some of you may have as far as KPIs. We're not looking at basket size or purchase frequency. We're looking at how long can we maintain this member? What's our lifetime value? The important thing to know here is you can't retain someone that you never acquired. So that's what's so important about Branch and Digital Turbine is we need to first acquire that person before we start getting into onboarding, engagement, and retention. And that's truly what makes this partnership great between Branch and Digital Turbine and why we use them from an iFit standpoint.
Awesome. Thanks, Kevin. There's so many great lessons in there. Great lessons about the benefits, the features in the app, how it doesn't cost you anything to capitalize on those audiences. And that's a theme that I wanted to expand on a little bit now. You touched on it so well, Kevin, and the case study speaks so well to your guys' success in this regard. But I wanted to expand on that and generalize a little bit about, first of all, what's going on in the market. You couldn't have given me really a better segue than to say, like, hey, we can drive a lot of audience, a lot of users to our website, and it doesn't cost us anything to convert those users, and you guys are doing it at such a high percentage. It doesn't cost us anything to convert those users to app users once we have them on our website. With some of the changes that are going on in the market today, paid ads will obviously remain an important channel, but there's a lot of questions, a lot of new workflows, a lot of new things that companies have to get accustomed to. And this may or may not affect their success with paid ads. And whether they are able to maintain the success they've had with paid ads in the past or not, owned audiences are absolutely something you need to capitalize on. So as these changes from Apple start to take effect probably at the end of March, beginning of April, now is a great month ahead of time to be preparing and leveraging the owned audiences you have on your websites. And it's not just the changes from Apple. Obviously, Kevin, you also alluded to the pandemic. The pandemic drove such incredible growth in e-commerce. In just Q2 of 2020, we all saw what would have been 4 to 5 years worth of growth in e-commerce, in prior and pre-pandemic times. Not all of that will stay, but absolutely some of that will stay. As hopefully we all return to normal soon, the penetration of e-commerce, will maintain a heightened level. And we saw that not just e-commerce in general, but for mobile. At this past Christmas, over 50% of e-commerce transactions happened on a mobile device. So it's just really incredible and speaks to the changes in consumer behaviors that you need to be adapting to in order to meet consumers where they are and help them engage with your brand in the way that they want to engage with your brand. And mobile is obviously a central component there. And that central component is the app. Apps have been popular for a long time, obviously. Apps are popular with marketers because of the better business results that they help drive. You see that at every stage of the funnel, as you see on the slide here. And Kevin, I liked what you alluded to. You control the environment in the app in a way that you can't in other digital channels, certainly on the web. Not only do you control the environment, but you're able to deliver features and functionality that you just can't do anywhere other than the app. So when it comes to that, super important consideration of lifetime value, how do you retain a user? Those features and functionalities, and we see lots of clients adding features and functionality all the time to their apps now. Those are important components in driving lifetime value, driving engagement, making sure that you maintain that relationship with the user over time so that you can benefit from some of these metrics that apps definitely demonstrate. And so this is a way that Branch thinks about this a lot with our clients. Particularly retail, QSR, lots of different verticals that have owned audiences on mobile web, which we've been talking about, but also in other channels as well. On mobile web, the app user is definitely more profitable, a more engaged user than a mobile web user. So driving mobile web users into the app is super important. Capitalizing again on your owned channels and using Branch's Journeys product, as iFit has so successfully done, to move those audiences into the app. And also, as Kevin mentioned, one of the key features is being able to recognize a user that already has the app. So you can target them maybe a little bit differently. Kevin, you talked about making them feel like a member. There's undoubtedly times, I'm sure, that your members wind up on the mobile web, maybe inadvertently. Being able to recognize them there, being able to get them over into the app, being able to make their experience at that moment in time more successful, make them feel like more of a member, super important. So all these features of Journeys and all of these benefits of an app are enhanced when you can take your mobile web traffic and drive users into the app from there. There's two main use cases that I think people need to consider, certainly for Journeys and for driving a web to app experience. One is direct deep linking. We just talked about iFit members potentially inadvertently winding up on the mobile website, targeting them with a specific banner that says, hey, come on over to the app and continue your experience there, recognizing that they're an app user and getting them over directly into the app with direct deep linking. I think, Kevin, the majority of your guys' use case has been the second one on the right here, where it's not an app user already. They're an owned audience. They're on your web, but you want to convert them to an app user. We call that deferred deep linking. Hopefully that's a term that everybody recognizes. The critical functionality for deferred deep linking is to maintain the context. So you click on that banner, you go to the App Store, or with SingleTap, you don't have to even go to the App Store. You download the app, and when you open, you're right at the page that you want to deliver the user to. Maintaining the context drives a better user experience and also drives better performance from your marketing activities. So when you get a click to install rate of 70%, which is pretty amazing, you'll retain those users. They'll have a better experience as they transition into the app. Here's sort of a diagram of how that works. I won't spend a lot of time here, but again, the two critical use cases, maintaining the context all the way through, whether the user has the app or whether the user goes through the download first, maintaining that context so that when the user opens the app, they see relevant content. And so funny, we talk about this a lot with clients, and taking them through and doing an audit on your own marketing activities across channels is so critically important. We forget as marketers that we're also consumers ourselves, and just testing our own marketing activities, the initiatives, the campaigns we put out to make sure that they drive the best performance, the best customer experience. Keeping this diagram sort of in the back of your mind as you're looking at it is something that we'd suggest all clients do. Kevin, you talked about the different capabilities of Branch's Journeys product. I won't talk too much about them here, but you can target journeys based on the audience on your website, whether it's a passive or an engaged user. You can measure that in a bunch of different ways. And you can also customize the creative. So in the Under Armour example on the left, you just have a small little banner at the top. In the Overstock example, you have a full page interstitial, and same thing on the right. So customizing the content and targeting those audiences can really help drive the performance. And Kevin, I think you talked about how it's pretty easy to implement as well. So that's great. Small team can be successful with this tool to capitalize on web traffic. And just a bit of research that we've done into this at Branch. We have seen for different types of retail users of the Journeys product from Branch, they've been successful in driving a larger and larger share of their mobile web traffic into native app. This is since the past year. I think this dovetails well or complements, the changes in consumer behavior as well. But we've seen, across the different sectors, across different clients in the retail vertical, we've seen a large growth in app engagement, which is just great because you're going to get those better business outcomes from users in the app and higher lifetime value. And then the last thing I wanted to just bring up was, this is an important lesson, and Kevin focused a lot on the journey from web to app, mobile web to app even. But this is an important lesson to take to your other marketing channels, your other marketing initiatives. Whether it's your desktop audiences. I love this thing that Nike does. Nike has a text me the app, which is what TMTA stands for there, where you want to find out when a shoe is going to hit the store or be available for purchase. You can get notified right in the app, and that QR code right on desktop will take you into the app, right to the page in the app, so you get notified of when that shoe is going to drop. And then at retail offline, we've seen clients putting posters on the door of their stores with QR codes that also link right to the page in the app for that location of the Pete's Coffee or whatever it is. And these offline implementations of QR codes can be posters on stores, like this, can be direct mail, and it really gives new life to a static kind of campaign. Direct mail, doesn't generally drive a digital experience, but with a QR code on a direct mail piece, you can extend the life of your direct mail campaign and take users right into the app. And our SingleTap, John, our SingleTap integration, works across all these implementations. The first area of focus has obviously been mobile web with our partnership, but you could leverage that SingleTap experience from any channel, which is really great.
Yeah, and to echo what Eric's saying, yeah, we do leverage the Branch capabilities from a QR code. We've implemented it onto packaging, into mailers. We have a text me the app as well from an iFit standpoint on pages that we would push desktop traffic to, knowing that a tap into the app store won't work for a desktop user. So yeah, we've implemented these areas, and now that we've run this initial test from mobile web to app using Digital Turbine, it's shown success for us to implement that partnership beyond just what we're doing for mobile web journeys. So it is an exciting tool that Branch offers, and we're excited to continue to expand on it.
You guys are covering all my lines for me. This is great.
Feel free, John, though.
I think, look, you guys have talked about it, but and we've talked about a theme here. It's capitalizing on that user intent, and that's very precious and very valuable. And the kind of evolution of the app stores over the last 2 to 3 years is they've just got more and more crowded, right? And so when you get someone that's highly intent driven, what you ideally don't want them to see is 3 other apps that might be in your competitor set. And so that's the great combination of SingleTap and journeys together.
Yeah. And so hopefully you've seen some of this through the course of the presentation. You know, the customer experience is, again, at the end of the day, what drives the better performance. Branch is an MMP partner to, you know, hundreds of different clients, and we provide great comprehensive measurement. But just measuring the impact of your campaigns won't drive the business results that you're looking for, the improvement in the business results. You'll just measure business results. Having the robust deep linking capabilities to improve the customer experience improves the business results. And Kevin and the iFit case study is such a great example of that. You know, you can get those business results. You work super hard to build owned audiences. You got to capitalize on those audiences and get them into the platform, which they are going to have the best, the most satisfactory experience with your brand. And that's probably the app. Certainly given changes in the marketplace, changes in consumer behavior, you know, the app has to be a central consideration. And you want to find ways to continually optimize for better performance, so you get that higher lifetime value from the app. And the optimizations don't have to be that difficult, as Kevin mentioned. You know, you can optimize, you can do targeting, you can do A/B testing, you know, with a smaller team, and doesn't require tons of resources. Partnerships like the one, John, that we're fortunate to have with you guys, you know, help drive that for clients like iFit. And it's great. And just lastly, those consumer behaviors and industry changes aren't going back to where they were pre-pandemic. And they're going to favor the continued growth and the necessity that you capitalize on your organic channels and make the app more and more central. John, Kevin, anything else to add in? I'll open it up for questions. And remember, folks, to keep an eye out. We'll follow up with the recording and your complimentary iFit membership. Kevin, it feels a little bit like an infomercial, not just a webinar, huh?
Exactly.
Let me check in QA, or Johanna, you want to see if there's any questions that came in for us?
Yeah, so there's actually a lot of great questions. Do you want to check on those now or wait till then?
Yeah, I think we're good. Let's
Okay.
bring them on.
Cool. Does the download count in app stores with SingleTap? How can this influence the app store ranking?
John, you know that?
The download doesn't count. Sorry, I think I was on mute. The download doesn't count in your app store ranking, right? So because we're essentially circumventing the Google Play Store, it doesn't register as an install on Google Play.
Are there plans to expand SingleTap into iOS?
So I think there's plans to expand SingleTap into lots of different areas. iOS would obviously be one great one, but nothing I could reveal that's about to come. One other thing I would say, just on the App Store part as a clarification point, is that it will update on your next app update. So whilst the download does not count at the point that it happens, it will count on the next app update. So just that clarification on that one.
And what does this journey look like from a QR code to app install?
The SingleTap?
Yeah, I'm not sure if QR codes are compatible with SingleTap right now. But I'm not sure if this person is the same one who asked about QR codes or desktop to app originally. I did provide some resources on QR codes or text me the app from desktop.
Yeah.
So
go ahead, John.
No, I was going to say, so I think that as far as I know, they are compatible with QR codes. So, you know, I think for any use case that you have, you know, our recommendation is always probably to speak to, you know, your branch technical account manager or your branch account manager to figure out kind of what's the use case you want to use that for, and then kind of what's the setup for that. But for QR codes, generally, yes, they are compatible.
Awesome.
definitely compatible and would drive a similar experience to the one you saw with iFit.
And what vertical have you seen the best results with in terms of using SingleTap? Has Digital Turbine worked with financial apps?
Yes, Digital Turbine does work with financial apps. Essentially, the SingleTap flow is applicable to anyone that has, a web and an app, right? That anyone that's going through that experience. So it's also applicable to people that don't have a website, right? So if you just think about the general download experience, when you see an ad, you click on the ad and you still go to the App Store in the normal flow. With SingleTap, what you're able to do is enhance that by, just like you saw in the video, the app downloading in the background, you staying within the experience you're in, whether that's mobile, web, or app, and then the notification popping up on the device to say, hey, the app's ready to install, would you like to open? And one tap and you're in the app, and hopefully using journeys, you're on the exact same page that you were on or that you were previously browsing.
And Johanna, I'll answer a little bit from our side too. We've seen lots of financial service clients enhance the capabilities of the app, and so there's a lot more interest in terms of engaging consumers, in terms of serving those consumers, and serving those consumers at a lower cost even with the app. And so if those users are showing up on the website, desktop or mobile website, getting them into the app, highlighting the new, if they are new features or functionality of the app, critical considerations going forward as consumers want to and are engaging with apps much more, in the financial services vertical.
Awesome. Does SingleTap work for hybrid apps?
That is a good question. I might have to pass on that one.
Might be
so hybrid app is non-native, and unless you guys know, it's been a while since I thought about hybrid app, but that's normally where the checkout page is on mobile web, right? And the rest is native.
I guess that's what they're thinking. I mean, I don't want to answer for you guys, but I'm sure there's info on your website. But also, if there is an app and there's an experience to drive into the app, that's what you're solving for.
Right. Yeah, I don't think we're unless there would be some nuance there. I don't see initially. It probably depends on the definition of hybrid app. Exactly.
Got it. If a website is primarily a promo website driving traffic to app stores, would SingleTap work in this situation?
Sorry, say that again. If there's a website?
Yeah, so if a website is primarily a promotion website driving traffic to app stores, would SingleTap work in that instance?
It doesn't seem to me, because the kind of point of SingleTap is to avoid the app store, right? Because of all the clutter and the potential competitor ads that appear there. So, as I understand the question, but I might have to double check on the clarification of that.
Would SingleTap eventually be supported by TikTok ads?
Are you asking, if you ran ads on another platform, could you use the SingleTap technology there?
I don't want to speak to this person. Peter's one who asked, maybe.
Generally, I mean, SingleTap is SingleTap is widely in ads, right?
Yeah. So he actually clarified. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, go on.
Oh, he said, if I advertise my app on TikTok ads, either native or web, would TikTok ads be able to use SingleTap now or in the future to skip the Google App Store?
So I think the more clarified version is probably not right now, but yes, potentially in the future.
Cool.
In TikTok, we can tell you Branch is a partner of TikTok in their measurement program. And we've worked and are working closely with them to drive better performance from TikTok ads. It'd be great to see SingleTap integrated there too. And John, I'm sure somebody's talking to them about that over on your side. But we have been working with them. I know they're focused on it.
Right,
Awesome.
and the same would be applicable to lots of partners, right? I think we're trying to work with as much of the ecosystem as we can, right, for this technology. So there's potential there for TikTok and many others.
Do you have any benchmarks for mobile web to app click to install rates?
So we showed some of those earlier. Kevin, I'll pull up yours. These are these are really successful rates. It's going to depend upon the vertical. It's going to depend upon lots of things, the functionality and features and desirability of your app, obviously. These are on the higher end, but we do see and have benchmarks, that point to these types of numbers for across different verticals. With branch journeys, the middle one, we have lots of experience, and I think somewhere in the 20 to 30% is a pretty good and pretty average click to install using journeys.
Yeah, generally I would add, with SingleTap, we see 2x the click to, install rates, which is what we've shown before. But there's obviously some variance by vertical. So that's why I would add.
Awesome. Have there been any studies on users who receive journeys / SingleTap experiences on being higher value over time or spending more in the app over time?
I'm not aware.
That sounds like a good one for Kevin, maybe. I don't know if he knows, or better to hear from him. Sorry to put you on the spot.
No worries. No, I think that, to answer the question, yes, when we have our users in the app, we're going to experience a greater LTV, but to get to the granularity of SingleTap versus did they just come into the app organically, I don't have that level of detail at the moment.
Got it.
It's a good question.
And
we do capture, Johanna, you know this, but we do capture the data. You could do that over time, as you saw the lifetime value.
do you support AMP? I'm assuming Google AMP for SingleTap.
You have to remind me what AMP is. Sorry, I think the answer is no, but
you're gonna have to pull out the SingleTap documentation.
Yeah, this rate. I'll have to push up the app.
Let's defer to the website for that.
Let's see what else. Someone said
questions. That's great.
Someone asked post-install event analysis for SingleTap and journeys. Oh, I think that was referring to the user LTV over time question. So.
All right. Well, let's take one more if you got one, and otherwise we'll send everybody the recording and
the integration guide.
And the integration guide. Right, exactly.
Oh, so for the AMP, John, it's a special HTML created by Google to create accelerated web apps. So not sure if SingleTap supports that.
Yeah, I think the answer to that, I'm pretty sure, is no.
Cool. That seems to be all of the questions. Those are really great.
Yeah, thank you everybody for participating. Kevin, John, thank you guys for participating with us. We're really thrilled about the partnership and what we've been able to achieve together. Remember, you'll look in your inbox for the recording and the follow-up information. And thank you again for attending today.
And the iFit membership, right?
Yeah. Oh, that's what I meant. The follow-up information. Yeah, that iFit membership. And we're going to be tracking the lifetime value of all the people that joined iFit thanks to this webinar. So make sure you're using it frequently.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.